Today on How It's Tekk'd, red matter, and gem armors. First, dark matter needs to be imported to the factory. After going through a distribution pipe to go to their appropriate automatic crafting tables, the dark matter will create the base armor. Here comes the dark matter now. There are 4 different automatic crafting tables that will create the boots, the leggings, the body armor, and the helmet. Once 4 have entered the boots, it will now come out and move into a chest for later. Meanwhile, other dark matter is coming in as well. It takes 24 dark matter in all to create an entire set of armor. For organizational reasons, the automatic crafting tables are put in order of how the suit would go on a body. For example, the top is the helmet, the middle is the chest plate, the bottom is the leggings, and the one off to the side is the boots. The leggings are now completed, and we'll move on to the chest where we saw the boots go earlier. On the left side of your screen, there is a power flower. These are energy collectors and energy relays connected to an energy condenser that will create red matter. Because red matter is so much more expensive than dark matter, they do not import it, but they rather just use the power of the sun to create its own energy, and therefore create its own materials. There were some leftovers in the chest, and the red matter will now move on to create the red matter armor. It takes 24 red matter, just as much as it did to make the dark matter, to create red matter armor. Once again, they go through a distribution pipe, and will meet up with the items in the chest later. The chest plate is arrived. In the background, the dark matter right now is making the helmet. The helmet will now come out and join the other 3 of its counterparts. Once joined up, a worker will take it through this tangle of pipes and move it to the automatic crafting tables in the back. For the armor does not stack, he needs to do this manually, and then repeat the pattern for the next worker. The helmet moves in the chest, and the worker, decked out in Sealer's uniform, will now take the dark matter armor. After turning around and inspecting progress, he looks in each of the automatic crafting tables to see if there is a complete red matter. If there is, such as the helmet, he will then replace it. As it is a lengthy process for the red matter to get to its final destination, we have edited this part out. Here you see the last two red matters moving into the red matter chest plate. And the worker replaces the dark matter armor. If the red matter armor doesn't go out to shipping, the worker brings it to these chests in the back. Now they will get a slight adjustment and upgrade, and will make gem armor. The worker must do these processes one at a time, starting with the helmet so he can inspect progress. First, the water buckets are brought in. This will be used to create the Evertide amulet in addition to some dark matter. Because the water buckets do not stack, they will be put in a chest for later for the worker to put in manually. The dark matter component now is moving in. All gem armor pieces need an Klein Star Omega. It is one of the most expensive things you can imagine at over 25 million EMC. Next, glowstone from the Nether. And finally, the red matter. All that's left now is a single piece of lapis lazuli. Now, once all the components come together, the worker can create the Abyss helmet. Here you see the soul stone moving through. This, in addition to the Evertide amulet, will allow the wearer to breathe underwater. The empty buckets are now returned. He will use that later for collecting more water. Now he gets the helmet, and he waits for the final component to come in so he can create the Abyss helmet. He now has the 4 components. Although the Klein Star Omega is not fully charged, it will be later, which is why the recipe does not show up in the automatic crafting table. Next is the chest plate. He once again flips the production switch. The chest plate and the helmet are closely tied and have almost the same items, just a few switches on some of them. Instead of water buckets, the chest plate needs lava buckets. This will create a Vulcanite amulet. Next, just like the helmet, we see lapis lazuli and sugar come in. Once again, the lava buckets do not stack, so they will have to go into a chest for the worker to make it himself manually. After the sugar comes the red matter. And then the Klein star Omega. This once again is not charged, but it will be transported later to the power flower. The apparatus will take sunlight's energy and create it into EMC. The worker cautiously takes out the lava buckets, takes the volcanic amulet, and then replaces them for courtesy of the next worker. Similar to the soul stone of the helmet, here comes the body stone. The Klein star Omega meets it there, almost simultaneously. He is now halfway done making the gem armor, after replacing the chest plate, of course. He now flips a switch for the leggings production. These are called gravity greaves, and are some of the hardest of the gem armor. But don't worry, you don't have to grieve about it. It should be a quick process. Five diamonds are brought in to create the Gem of Eternal Density. This, in addition to the Watch of Flowing Time, the Klein star Omega fully charged, and the red matter greaves already made, makes this a very expensive and hard to make item. Because the hurricane boots rather, are so easy to make, it is just a straight line through that tube, he flips a switch. He is a skilled worker, and he knows if there will be any problems or not. Although some may disagree, they say that red matter is equivalent to the nanosuit armor we saw in the last episode, and that the gem armor is equivalent to the quantum suit armor. Meanwhile, in the hurricane boots section, there are iron bands, feathers, and dark matter coming in. This will create 2 swift wolf rendingales, also known as flying rings. In the background, the gem of eternal density is now coming through. Here are the feathers and iron bands now. A clock and glowstone are needed for the Watch of Flowing Time. The last thing in the pipe is the Klein Star Omega. This gives all the armor the charge. Here goes the Klein Star Omega and the Watch of Flowing Time now. They will meet up in the same chest for the workers to put together. Now the worker takes out 2 swift wolf's rendingales, takes out the hurricane boots, and replaces everything in their rightful order. All that's left now is the hard-to-make greaves. He's made them, but now he must replace all the items. And that is how you make gem armor. If you have any questions about the video, or have suggestions for future videos, drop me a line in the comments section below.